Welcome to the ride with Wild Wayne Cartwright, an exciting thrill ride through the wonderful world of HBCU athletics. Before our trip begins, let's set a few ground rules. First, subscribe to this YouTube channel. Second, hit the like button. Third, please be sure to tell someone else about this show. Now that we've got these things out of the way, it's time for our journey to begin. Sit back, relax, and enjoy your ride.
Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome back on another edition of The Ride here on a great Wednesday night. The Ride rolls into week number 9, and this is what I have entitled as HBCU football's greatest weekend. We got a really, really wonderful slate of games to preview and talk for you tonight. This is my man, Dave. What up, Dave?
What's going on, Wayne? What's up?
Man, it's all good. Dave is joining me tonight along for this wonderful ride tonight, representing Down South Football Podcast. And ladies and gentlemen, if you're out there, you're watching, make sure as we always say, make sure you hit the like button. If you're watching me for the very first time, make sure that you subscribe. And hey, tell folks, man, the ride is on. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. And as you like to do, everybody that watches every week, you could put everything in the comments. And then if questions come up, me and Dave, we're going to get to them as they come along. So, man, Dave, you ready for the ride to begin, brother, this week?
Man, let's go, man. Let's go. Let's get it in.
All right. So y'all know what we do. We jump right on in, and we're going right here to Big South OVC play with Western Illinois Leathernecks. Coming in with a record of 1-7 on the year, losers of 5 straight games. They're 0-4 in Big South OVC play. They take their talents on down to Nissan Stadium, Nashville, Tennessee, to take on the Tennessee State Tigers, who just won their homecoming game last week over Howard, winning 24-7. This game's at 2:30 Eastern, 1:30 in the Central. They played last year there in Illinois, and Tennessee State was victorious 45-20. This game will also be on ESPN Plus. Now, Tennessee State, they found themselves a little bit last week, and they beat Howard for the second year in a row. They kind of got a really nice effort from their quarterback, Byron McNair, who threw for almost 200 yards in the effort and threw for 3 touchdowns. Western Illinois, their only win on the year was against Valparaiso. They had 2 payment games that they played early, and, they've lost some close ones in Big South OVC play. So, Dave, what you think about this one, man?
Man, when I was looking at this game, it was very intriguing to me. A couple of things stood out. Tennessee State seems to having an issue with putting points on the board. That's been kind of their Achilles heel, as I did my research on them. In West Illinois, heck, they've given up 30-plus points in every game they played except for one, right? So, honestly, Wayne, I don't know what the hell going to happen. So, the good thing is that Tennessee State is at home. They did win last year, but they got to find a way to get in the zone, man. So, my keys to the game is that, Tennessee State, can you find a way to get in the end zone? Because if it ever was a game to get in the end zone, this is your game to do it. So, that's where I'm at with this one.
All right, so you going going Tennessee State?
Going TSU.
All right. Well, I agree with you. I'm going Tennessee State by 7. I'm going 28-21. I think Tennessee State, if you're in their shoes, I think you really need to get this one, because looking at the rest of their schedule, there's not a lot of real winnable games coming forward. They've got Lindenwood and Gardner Webb. They do play Charleston Southern at the end, but Western Illinois, they lost to Charleston Southern last week, and Charleston Southern in the preseason was considered to be the worst team in Big South OVC. And so now, if you're Tennessee State, you want to take care of business, because if you don't get this one, man, you could be looking at a winless Big South OVC slate. So Let's go with the Tigers in this one. And shout out to Reggie Barlow and those guys, man. He's building a team. Like I said, you better get him now because he's going to get those boys ready and into the future. All Absolutely. Right. Now we go to the big place down there in Greensboro, North Carolina A&T in the CAA as they come in with a 1-6 record off of their bye week. And they needed it because they've come in a little bit wounded after the last 3 games. Now, shout out to Sean Gibbs. He's had these boys playing really, really hard, and they've competed in their last 3 ball games. You know, the game against William and Mary, they led late. They had a lead at halftime against South Carolina State in their last effort. And so they welcome in the Campbell Fighting Camels, one of my favorite nicknames in all of collegiate athletics. They come in touting a 2-5 record. They are 2-1 in CAA play. They did knock off Hampton on the road, and this game will be there at Truist Stadium, as you see there, 1 p.m. Eastern. They played they played a nice little matchup down there in Bowie's Creek, North Carolina last year. And Campbell came out 21-7. This game will be on Flow College Sports. All right, Dave. So what do you think about North Carolina A&T against Campbell?
Man, I'm looking at this. North Carolina A&T versus Campbell, man. Boy, this is a tough one. I mean, honestly, you got both teams that their last outing, I think that Campbell lost their last game, and I think A&T, their last game was South Carolina State, I think. They had a loss as well. Yeah, they're on a 4-game losing streak right now. So they are at home, though. They are at home. So, man, I haven't watched a whole lot of A&T. I haven't watched a whole lot of Campbell. But I do know A&T is it's not the easiest place to go in and win. You got the crowd is always going to be rocking. The band going to be doing this thing. So if it ever was a game for them to win, give me A&T just because they're basically at home.
Now, this one I was a little bit back and forth on in my analysis here because of the way that Sean Gibbs has gotten these guys to play. The thought was that they would probably be a 1 or a no-win team this year. And they got that 1 win against Hampton. And like I said, in the pre to this game, they have played very well on the road in their last few matchups, and including the G-Ho game 2 weeks ago against South Carolina State. Kevin White has given them life at quarterback. But the thing about Campbell is these guys run the ball really, really well. And one of the weaknesses that North Carolina A&T has is on run defense. So with all that said, I love you guys, Aggies, but I got to go with Campbell pulling this out by 7 on the road. 35-28, I'm going with the Campbell Fighting Camels to get another one there in the CAA. And really, for both of these teams, with the way the CAA is, it's very top-heavy with Villanova and Monmouth and all that kind of stuff. So when you get a matchup against each other, it's an opportunity that you need to take advantage. But I got Campbell in this one. All right. Now, speaking of Monmouth, oh, boy. 10th ranked team in FCS coming in with a 6-1 record, 3-0 overall in the CAA. They take their talents on the road down there to Armstrong Stadium there. And this is homecoming for Hampton.
Ooh, who scheduled this?
Yeah. Who scheduled that is right. Yeah, this is homecoming, man. 2 p.m. Eastern. On Flow College Network. Now, they played 2 years ago in Monmouth. It was 61-10 2 years ago. Now, Hampton, oh, my boy, man. After they got that win against Norfolk State.
Right.
In the Battle of the Bay, it's been tough sledding. Real tough sledding. Last week, Villanova took them apart up there in PA, where Pat McQuaid threw 5 touchdowns on 10 completions. He only threw the ball 13 times. He was 10 for 13, and 5 of the 10 completions were for touchdowns on that 56-14 win. Monmouth, Derek Robertson is the man. And if you have not seen Derek Robertson play, he's their quarterback, and he is considered to be one of the leaders along with Cole Payton of North Dakota State for that Walter Payton Award, which, goes to the nation's best FCS player. So what do you think here, man? Do you see any way that Hampton can stay in this? What do you see?
Absolutely not. Hampton clearly has issue protecting the quarterback. And my thing is, can they make a play though? Are they going to be able to make a splash play? Maybe if they make some splash plays, they may be able to kind of, get the crowd going since it is homecoming, right? But Mama, just keep doing what you're doing. But the good thing is, honestly though, Mama is really giving up a little too many points for me. When I really look at them, they give up a lot of points. So Hampton, if there ever was a game that you make it, get your offense going, it could be this one. But you got to hit some splash plays early, but still give me Mama's big.
Yeah, and I don't think this one's going to be close at all, man. Hampton, I wish you could have waited for 2 weeks because next week they go on a bye, and then next week after they play this one, after their bye, they play Maine at home. That would have been a better matchup for homecoming. This one, man. Mama, their offense is way too powerful, and they're going to roll in this game. And I mean it, roll. 56-17 is where I'm going because I don't think Hampton can put up any resistance against those boys. All right, now, ladies and gentlemen, we move over to the MEAC. And as we get ready to hit the MEAC, everybody make sure you hit the like button, and let's go into the MEAC. Now, this one here, this is homecoming there in Norfolk, where you've got both teams coming off a bye week. So you got South Carolina State 4-3 against Norfolk, who's 1-6. William Dick Price Stadium, 2 p.m. Eastern. They played last year in Orangeburg, and South Carolina State took them to the woodshed in the season finale, regular season finale. This will be on ESPN Plus. Now, this is a MEAC opener, and this for both teams now. It does not matter what you did leading up to this game now. MEAC now, this is a 5-week sprint to the finish. And Dave, if you lose any game in the MEAC, know that you're probably in deep trouble already. Right. And so for the defending champions who come in, they played really, really well on offense, throwing the ball. They have not really been able to run it.
Right.
Their offense has really been dictated on big plays and possession receiving.
Yes.
Also defense, they forced turnovers and they've been very opportunistic. Yes. Now you switch over to Norfolk. Norfolk, they're so talented. Their biggest problem is they've struggled on defense. Mike Vick has already replaced guys on that side of the ball with the staff. They turn the ball over too much. They've turned the ball over 13 times, and they've only taken it away 6. So this is new life now for Vic. But Chennis Berry and them boys are tough, man. What you got here?
Man, I actually watched South Carolina State play. My son actually plays for Savannah State. So I had the fortunate but unfortunate opportunity to watch him play because it kind of went the wrong way. But one thing I noticed about South Carolina State when I watched them, I didn't really see an overpowering, explosive offense. I didn't really see any of that. But what I did see an opportunistic defense. I saw a defense that was athletic. They have good size. And if you make a mistake, they will make you pay. Now, watching Norfolk State and kind of doing a little research that I have done on them, they have really been in some games, right? They've been in some games that the ball bounced here or there and maybe not make this mistake and make this mistake. That record could look a lot different than a little bit different than what it looks. And they've had some tough opponents. I mean, you do have Rutgers on your schedule. I mean, Rutgers are not, not FBS mind, but to a Norfolk State, that's a pretty dang good opponent. They got whooped up pretty bad in that game, but still, they played some competition. And like you said, this is where their season begins, and they have the athletes. My question is, Norfolk State, is can you put a complete game together? Mm-hmm. Can you minimize your turnovers? Can you make splash plays? Can you force turnovers? and not turn the ball over, because that's where South Carolina State is where at their best, when they're able to force turnovers, when they're able to get, kind of get that momentum going, and then they kind of roll you. So honestly, I'm going to go South Carolina State. But if Norfolk State pulls this out, I'm not going to sit here and say I'm surprised. I know that looking at the record, I get it. But looking at what I saw on TV, on film, Norfolk got some things going. They just got to put it together, man. They got to put it together. But I'm going to go North Carolina State.
Yeah. The thing about Norfolk State is, coming into the year, you thought that with Kevon King, their running back, and he had a really good year last year, you thought that he was going to be the bell cow. They've kind of struggled in spots to run the ball. Recently, they've done a little bit better. Him and Xavion Evans, those two, they've been kind of, going back and forth. Otto Coons has definitely been the answer for them at quarterback. They started off with Israel Carter. It didn't work. So they've hitched their wagons to their senior quarterback. Chennis Berry, man, every time you look up and you say about their team, when you think, oh man, they lost a lot of talent off of last year's team, and they did. But then you look up and you see, wow, he's got these boys competing, and that just shows that that's his DNA. And I think that tough grit in that DNA is going to make the difference in give me South Carolina State on the road by 7. But that doesn't mean that Norfolk ain't going to go quietly, because this game could go either way. But I gotta go with the defending champs in this one to get off to that 1-0 start. But man, what a game there on homecoming there in Norfolk. Yeah. Now we go to homecoming in DC. Ooh. That's the theme here in the MEAC this week. All 3 games are homecoming affairs. Now you've got Morgan State coming in off of a bye at 3-4. Taking on an equal 3-4 Howard team that's lost 3 games in a row, including, as we talked at the top of the show, they lost last week on the road to Tennessee State. This is the home opener at Green Stadium. They've played all 7 games. Well, 6 of them road, and they played that one game, the Battle of the Real HU. They played at Audi Field there in D.C. But this is the home opener of Green Stadium for the year in game number 8, which is crazy to me. But, we go on. 3:30 p.m. Last year they played in the season finale, and Morgan State took them out 35-21. You can see this on ESPN+. Now, Morgan State, there is, man, I'll say this about them, man. They've really been unimpressive. That's the best way I can say this. They've done all their damage against less than stellar competition. Their 3 wins, they beat Central State. Uninspiring, they beat Miles, where they needed to block a field goal and return that for a touchdown in the final minute of the Circle City Classic. And then their last outing was their homecoming game when they beat Virginia Lynchburg. And some of their losses, everybody remembers the Hail Mary loss against Georgetown, a game that they definitely had in hand. They also gave the game away against Towson in a game that they had. And then the game first week of the season, they gave it away 4 times in a winnable game that had their offense playing good against South Alabama. Now, Howard on the other end, Howard struggles offensively.
Yes,
they struggle to put points on the board. They've been in some games, but they've also played themselves out of it with turnovers. We remember the Richmond game a few weeks ago where they led 12-0 halfway through the 4th quarter, and then 2 Tariq Starks interceptions turned that whole game around. When they have won, they've run the ball well. Howard plays pretty good defense, led by Noah Miles. Their problem is they can't pass it. They can't throw it. And Morgan State, they're highly inconsistent. So you tell me, brother, where you want to go on this.
Man, listen. Can Howard find a way to put up some points? They have not scored over 20-plus points since week 3, and that was against Morehouse.
Yep.
They hadn't scored over 20 points since week 3. We're in week 7? Where we at?
9.
9. Jesus Christ. 9, right? can they put up some points? And Morgan State, they're going to have to try to control this game on the ground. I don't trust either of these schools throwing the football. They're going to have to control this game on the ground, not give up turnovers. I think Morgan State beats Howard. I really do. I think they pull it out. I think they grind this game out. I think Howard makes one too many mistakes, and they just hadn't proved to me that they can score. So give me Morgan State.
So I'll take your Morgan State and I'll raise you Morgan State. I agree with you, man.
Yeah.
I'm just not sold on the fact that Howard can find it on offense. And I talk to Coach Larry Scott every Monday, and and it's been kind of a little bit of the same things that he says every Monday. And it's been just, hey, we keep grinding, we keep going back to the board. But I just think that Morgan State coming off their bye week, I think that maybe Damon Wilson, who definitely needs to win, is going to have the passion and the urgency behind those guys to go into DC and get them a win. Low scoring, 24-17. All right, now we go to the big one in the MEAC. Big game in the MEAC. And you know what? Y'all know it's Wild Wayne does. When we have a big game, you get the big analytics. So this one, you got Delaware State coming in at 4-3 off their bye week, at North Carolina Central 5-2 off their bye week on homecoming there at O'Kelly Riddick Stadium in Durham. 1 p.m. Eastern. They played last year in the season finale, and North Carolina Central got the better of them 52-10. This game will be on ESPN Plus, man. Now let's get into the analytics, shall we? Rush offense. Delaware State leads all America in the FCS in rushing. 327 on the ground. That is not a typo. Those boys are running the ball everywhere. And it does not matter who's back there running that ball. James Jones will kill you. Marquise Gillis will kill you. And the quarterback, Caden Bennett, will kill you. And it doesn't matter. They'll throw out of a passing set. It looks like it's passed. They'll run it. It could be third and long. They will run it. They know that you put 8 men in the box. We will run it. That says that, they've got a really good offensive line, and they've got a really good scheme led by the running back coach, Clinton Portis, who wasn't a bad running back himself, brother. He was a bad.
Yeah, he was pretty decent. He was pretty darn good, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. Now you look on the other side, the rush offense of Central, 181 per game. Now Chris Mosley, he's a really hell of a stud back, man. Number 1 in maroon on Saturday. That's a tough dude. You better find him. Now rush defense, this is where both teams really excel. If they do excel on defense, they excel on the rush. They're able to stop you guys running the ball. But here's where it really gets different, bro. Delaware State, they ain't really been much on passing. 159 per game. And they really, honestly, they really, they know that their identity is running the ball. They're trying to be opportunistic when they throw it. They're capable of throwing it. They just haven't really been able to do it. Now, on the other side, North Carolina Central, Walker Harris has been airing that thing out, and he's been efficient. Last game against FAMU, he was 21 out of 27, and he threw for almost 300 yards. So they've been killing it, throwing it. And then pass defense, Dave, that's where you look on that side with Delaware State. That's where, if you're going to beat these guys, this is where you beat them. You beat them in the air. You throw it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. But also on the other side, you can get some yards on North Carolina Central also. But the thing that's crazy about it is those guys, their secondary, they've got 7 interceptions as a secondary. They're pretty good. Pretty good in that secondary. Scoring offense, you see both of them, they light the scoreboard up. And then you look at their scoring defense. They'll give up some points too, right? All right, so the giveaways, you see what the giveaways are, 6-11. Now, my next slide here, this is just the key metrics. You're looking at this game, you already know. And I asked Trey Oliver Monday on that MEAC coach call. I said, I said, how much work did you guys do during that bye week to really be able to slow down or control that rush offense that averages 327 a game? He said, yeah, man, he said, we got to rally to the ball, and then you see we're pass defense and you see we're passing offense and you see giveaways. These are the key metrics. So with all that said, Dave, now I turn it over to you to give your analysis and your pick.
Man, when I actually looked at this game, a couple things I looked at. I looked at the stats. I watched a little film, both teams, and came up with this. Can Delaware State limit NCCU's big playability? Right? They have the ability to make some splash plays. Can Delaware State, can they slow them down? Now, Delaware State, what they have to do is do what they do best. They got to control the ball on the ground, and they got to control the line of scrimmage.
Mm-hmm.
Football is football. At the end of the day, you got to block and you got to tackle. With them running the ball, and like you said, they do it multiple ways. They could be the running back, be the quarterback. However, if they can establish that running game and control that clock, that could be key for them. But also, too, they got to convert on third down. I think that third down conversion percentage is only 39%. Against a team, an experienced team like an NCCU team, a championship caliber, program, you got to be able to convert those third and 5, 36, 30. You're going to need that to keep them off the field, right? You want to control the clock.
Yeah.
So with that being said, if they can do those things, I think Delaware State can pull it out. But my gut is telling me, just off the key of the experience factor, whether that be coaching, big game experience, whatever, NCCU finds a way to pull this game out close.
Yeah, so I'll look at some of the comments here before I show y'all my pick. Said Coach Oliver will try and make an example of Jackson. And said Whitley, what up, Whitley? She said, Mr. Ford. I know Mr. Ford said Trey is going to mistreat Jackson. And then my boy Doc, what up, Doc? He said, I got Dale State by 4. And then Ron Hunt knows. He said Clem Portis was a beast. And then he said, you all are enamored. Well, hey, you ain't talking about this guy. Listen, man. Yeah, Dave ain't enamored neither.
Not at all.
Deshaun Jackson's doing a hell of a job. I'll say that. Then he said Delaware State for the upset. We got NCCU for the win. Said she riding with Trey. He said, I'm going with Delaware State in the upset close game. And then Merlin said, I got North Carolina Central off of the experience in Trey's coaching. You know something, brothers and sisters? Man, experience is everything for sure. And the thing that's so crazy about this one game, man, I really, really believe that both teams are capable of representing this league to get to Atlanta. That's how much I really believe in both of these squads. Man, I wish this game was being played at the end of the season instead of at the beginning. But nevertheless, we got it. And at 1 p.m. on Saturday, it's going to be awesome. And what I got for you, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going with the experience factor in a high-scoring shootout. Give me the Central Eagles 41-35. But this thing going to go back and forth, man. That's how I believe it. But I think in the second half, adjustments in the second half is going to be really, really crucial for what decides this game. I believe Delaware State going to run that ball. But at some point, the inability to throw the ball might show up if you can't figure it out come Saturday. But Shout out to both coaches, man, and shout out to both staffs, because these teams, man, they doing great. So, yeah, man, that's one of 2 games of the week we got for you. So, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe, and keep these comments rolling. It's awesome. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we turn to the SWAC. And for the very last time on this show this year, I have to mention the Lincoln, California Oaklanders.
Who keeps scheduling them? Jesus Christ.
You know what? And guess what, man? For the 3rd straight week, it's a homecoming game somewhere.
Oh,
it was homecoming there in Valley last week where they lost 49-0. And it was homecoming 2 weeks ago when they played at Alcorn when they lost 42-0. So, listen, we ain't gonna waste a whole lot of time talking about this game because we know what it's about. But what I wanted to just bring up is there's been a lot of things going around on social media about your boy, Mr. Tremaine Jackson, who I have the utmost respect for. I love talking to him every week. Great dude. He's been on my show before. He was making an urge and a plea for people to come to the game. He said it's not sold out. We need y'all to come on. We need y'all to come on and come out and whatever. And somebody replied and said, you know, man, with all due respect, I love y'all, but, you know, I'm going to be out at this tailgate kicking it with my peoples. Man, hey, but listen, silver lining though, if the folks don't show up this week, you got Alabama State coming in that very house next week. So
it's gonna be a big game.
Yeah, it's gonna be a big game. I hope people show up, man. He literally said, Lion, Lincoln. All
of it bad, Dave. All of it bad.
All of it's bad. All of it's bad. And for the third straight week, they ain't scoring. 56-0. That's where we going. And Lord, and listen, athletic directors across America, HBCU, please stop scheduling Lincoln, California, and also stop scheduling Virginia Lynchburg. Thank you. We now return to our regularly scheduled programming, already in progress. Now, Dave, let's go to the Magnolia Bowl.
Do we have to go here?
We gotta go here. Yeah, we gotta go here. Yeah, we gotta go here. Because you know what, man? The Magnolia Bowl just gets all of its due, man.
Yes,
you got Valley coming on down there. Hey, man, you looking at Coach Buck. Coach Buck was feeling all good on Monday. He like, yeah, man, we 1-0 this week. And you know, man, I love Coach Buckley, man. His energy, his passion, everything. He working so hard to try to turn that program around. It's going to take you some time, big dog, but hopefully, before the sun sets on this season, you can celebrate a SWAC win. Thank God it won't come against our boys. We already got past that.
That's true.
So now, Valley, 1-5. All right, still looking for that first SWAC win against Alcorn. Man, was that a tough one for them last week at FAMU. Man, losing that one to go down 0-3 now in SWAC play. Spinks Kasem Stadium, there on the reservation. Don't know how many folks will be out there in attendance, but for those that will be there, man, be loud and proud and celebrate it. They played last year. Alcorn won by 21. All right, Dave, what you got, man?
Man, you know, first of all, shout out to the reservation, man. That is always a great place. If you haven't been to Alcorn State down in Lorman, man, listen, go catch a game down there. Last time I was there, I had a fantastic time. The crowd was electric. Everybody's behind. The band is electric. Just the atmosphere, right? With that said, I couldn't have picked a more even game this game here is going to be shit. I mean, I'm sorry, Wayne, but hell, it's going to be even. I mean, they both kind of do the same thing. Like, I mean, good and bad, right? So I think that, you know, game being this even, 1-5, 1-6 overall, 0-2, 0-3 in conference play, being this even, it's a Mississippi game. You're going to get folks to come out. The diehards will be there. Man, give me Alcorn State. They're going to be at home, and I just believe that they're going to pull out a tough one. I think it's going to be a hell of a ball game.
Yeah, man, I really believe so too. One thing that I do have to say, you know, I know that Coach Cedric Thomas gets a whole lot of flack. And yeah, maybe some of it is warranted because they haven't played up to the standards that obviously, you know, some people set from the beginning. They've struggled on defense. They've struggled taking care of the ball. They struggle with situational football. But on the other side, you can say the same thing, man. Valley's been getting outscored. Their point differential is 43-16 this year. right? They only score 16 points a game, but this is a game that I really went back and forth on because I was like, man, these boys from Valley, man, they might be able to steal one. But Dave, I can't. I think Alcorn is going to play a little bit of a better game because I tell you this much, said Thomas, if y'all lose this game to Valley and go 0-4 in SWAC play, the 0 for the SWAC schedule watch will be on.
Yeah, really.
For real.
That's legit. Yeah.
So you better show up and you better take care of your business there, Big Bad Braves. So yeah, give me Alcorn by 14. This is more of a second half pull away. But shout out to Valley. They're gonna play well. All right. Now we go to homecoming there in Daytona. And for the very first time as SWAC opponents, you get UAPB Golden Lions coming in at 3-4 after losing the game last week that they really should have won against Grambling. They come in with a 1-2 record in SWAC play. They come to a red hot Bethune-Cookman, 3-4 on the year, 2-1 in SWAC play. Down there in Daytona Stadium, 3 p.m. Eastern on SWAC TV. The last time they played was 20 years ago. Bethune-Cookman, that was a really good team back then too. 31-17 was the victor. They were victorious in that game. Now, UAPB, they let one slide last week. You know, when they went in on that weather delay, when it was 14-7 Grambling, they had the ball in the red zone when they came out, and then it just was field goal, field goal, field goal. And turnover. And honestly, man, I think at this point, you know, when you saw Coach Hampton on Monday, he just looked completely frustrated. He looked like he was almost through. And he's worked his tail off. He's done a lot to try to get that program to go. And it just seems like, man, it just seems like it's a losing effort. Now, on the other side, Bethune-Cookman, they control their own destiny in the East. And their offense has been so high octane. We talk about it every week. They're about 500 yards, you know, loading every single week with the way that Ransom has been throwing it and running it. The two running backs, Ali Scott and Kamari Robinson. And then you get to those receivers, man, Javon Ross, and Malik Huggins. Like Raymond Woody, he's been doing a great job with them. And, man, they've been tough. If you have Bethune-Cookman this good on your bingo card, congrats, man. I give you all the props. All right, Dave, what do you see in this one?
Man, you know, just kind of a little bit of backdrop on this from what I'm about to say. Pine Bluff really hadn't been the same to me since that spring 2021 season when our Alabama A&M Bulldogs beat them in Jackson, Mississippi for the SWAC championship that spring season. They had a darn good team. They had a darn good season, but after that, they've been kind of they went really down. Now they're kind of trying to be on the uptick a little bit more than what they were maybe the last year, 2 years ago, or however it goes. Bethune has really been playing good football. I think they're averaging like almost 30 points a game or something to that effect.
Over that, yeah.
Over that, right? So they have been, I mean, shucks, they average, it says 0.4, 39, it says 29.9. So over 30, right? Just say 30 points a game. So, and they've been rolling. You got homecoming, all the festivities going on. I mean, this place should be rocking. I mean, other than the band just keep playing the same songs every year. I like Bethune-Cookman. Give me Bethune-Cookman to win, I think, convincingly.
Yeah, and I'm with you, man. They're going to get these boys big. I'm going 42-20. It could be even more than this, especially Bethune coming off a bye week. And listen, another thing, UAPB, it was funny. Somebody asked Coach Hampton on Monday. They said, are you guys riding the bus there? And I almost looked and I had to laugh. I slumped in my chair. He said, no. He said, we're flying there. They're flying to Orlando and then they're riding over to Daytona. It's a long trip for these boys. Yeah, Bethune-Cookman, man. And shout out to my boy here. That's my boy. He always be watching every week from Pine Bluff, man. Pine Bluff guy. He
Okay.
said, I think BCU is too fast. Don't trust our defensive staff to do enough. You're right. You're right. And he said this one might be a shootout, but Mary's Children by 2 scores. He's got them 49-14. You know what, man? You might be right.
It might be on to something.
But this is also shout out to my man Merlin. He's a Southern guy. It wasn't too far when they beat y'all 45-14. But yeah, man, Bethune-Cookman, keep it rolling. They're gonna roll on another week here. Oh boy. This one got a little interesting now, didn't it?
Oh, God. Oh, God.
Yeah, man. FAMU coming on down to the Bluff off of their first win in SWAC play last week over Alcorn. They check in at 2-4, 1-2. And actually, crazy enough, they're still alive in the East because next week they play Jackson State. But that's next week. This week, they look to get their 6th consecutive victory in this series over Southern, who there's been no news about them this week. Nobody said anything. It's been business as usual. It's been all quiet down there on the Bluff. But in all seriousness, though, at 5 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Central, Southern with a interim head coach, Fred McNair, is going to try to snap that 5-game losing streak. Last year, it was one of the worst games they played last year, Southern. 24-6 down there in Tallahassee. So, man, I turn it over to you.
Man, for me, I believe this game is going to have somewhat of a Trent Differ effect. What I mean by that is UAB here in Birmingham fired Trent Differ. UAB went out last week and had a big doggone win, right?
Sure did.
I think this is what's about to happen down in Monmouth. I think Coach Fred McNair is going to get these guys up to play. And I really, really believe that they're going to pull out a game and they're going to play the best football that we've seen. Because we know they have athletes. We know they can make plays in spurts, right? We've seen them make splash plays. I mean, even in the MEAC SWAC challenge, they made splash plays here and there, right? So it's there. It's just, can you get the troops rallied? Now that you can probably breathe new life in a program that's now being led, even though he's interim, he's a very, very experienced championship caliber head coach. Let's not forget that. Alcorn they had some rough seasons last year or so after the COVID thing when they didn't play the COVID. But prior to that, Alcorn State was running the SWAC. Let's just be 100 about it. So I think based off of this, because I mean, even if you look at the numbers, it's too. I can't even look at that to kind of give a prediction. I got to go with my gut. I got to say Fred McNair gets his team to play, which is one of my favorite coaches in the SWAC. Gets his team up to play. Give me Southern for the win, man, down in Monmouth.
Man, that's interesting. So, I was thinking when I sat down here this week and I said, man, what's the morale of this squad, man? What's the morale of this team? Talking about Southern. What's the morale of them, though? Even though they've got to change over in the staff a little bit. Last week they were embarrassed. That place was it didn't look good. In fact, it hasn't looked good really all year, man. It's with the exception of one day. But even that one win that they had against Valley, people had a lot of things to say about that. Now, for FAMU, Cozy, hey, he ain't on the best of grounds either. That ice ain't thick under his feet. Last week, it had to be a not really celebration, had to be some relief. And I think that FAMU, just one more time, finds a way to go down on the Bluff and steal one.
Oh. I don't know, right? This is what I gotta watch it now. I got to watch this game.
Yeah, man. I don't know, man. I was with you. I thought about the same thing. Like, man, maybe Fred can inject new life in these boys for a week. But I still got questions offensively, man. Like,
Yeah.
you know, who's calling the plays?
Hey,
And what are
man.
they going to be running?
Hey, man. Hey, like, what? So, I got 7 plays, coach. That's 7 plays. You know.
But yeah, he said this might be a good game. Both of them might wake up for this game. Southern by 3. Hey, you know what, man? Hey, you know, and then she got Roy Ty, I got FAMU 24-17. Yeah. And look, he said, plus Southern is notorious for cheating. Fred's calling the play. Okay. All right. And then look at this. Right, Wayne Cozy is on ice and a banana peel.
Hey,
But here's the
ice
thing,
and
though.
banana peel.
But here's the thing, though. He said Fred's calling the plays. Exactly. That's why I'm like, man, I can't go with him. I can't go with him.
But I'm rolling with Fred, man. I'm
All
rolling
right.
with Fred.
Hey, you know what? You might be right, man. Because like I said, at a 3-point game, man, it can go either way. I tell you, though, both of these teams need this badly for different reasons.
Yes.
Southern just needs this, man, to just stop the bleeding and just get something good to talk about in that building. You know, you lose this game, man, it's just going to continue to just extend it even further. But FAMU, they need this so badly because Cozy knows he needs it. You know, but we'll see. All right. Let's go to Vegas, shall we? Hello, Jackson State fans and Grambling fans. We're now talking about your game. Taking on out there, P&G Las Vegas HBCU Classic. It's been advertised for months. Grambling 4-3. Snuck out of Pine Bluff last week with a 20-16 win to get their first SWAC victory against the number 12 ranked FCS team in America, Jackson State, coming off a bye week, 5-1, 3-0 in SWAC play. You remember what it was last year. They played down there in the hole in September. Grambling 41-20 on the back of 5 turnovers. 2 of them, 1 pick 6 and 1 fumble recovery return for a touchdown, and a couple others that set up scores. This will be on HBCU Go. James Hadnot. They all were talking last week when they were there on the bluff. They said, we can't wait to get out here to Vegas. And fans have been waiting to get out there to Vegas for months, and here it is. All right, Dave, we'll turn it over to you for this one, man.
Man, you know, first of all, man, shout out Vegas, man. Putting this game, I think this is an outstanding classic. I think that they should do this. This should be an annual a classic, right? It should be a PG Las Vegas annual classic. You know, I think that, you know, these are 2 great institutions that's going to represent their schools well. And JSU, of course, you know, they travel well. You know, they're gonna have a good showing, right? I mean, Grambling, they're gonna have a good showing as well. But unfortunately, I think that's the only good showing that we'll see from Grambling. So it's not a whole lot to be said. I think JSU have already, you know, established who they are. They are who they are, right? And as long as they don't slip up down the stretch, I think they should be fine, man. But I think JSU should control this game. Now, Grambling does have some things they do well. They run the ball well. They don't really have a prolific passing game, but they can they can hit some things. They can do some things well offensively, right? But JSU, man, come on. This year right here, I think if it was a game for JSU to lose, I think it was last week. Well, sorry, not last week, the week before last, when they played. Alabama State came down to Jackson. But man, give me JSU. I mean, Grambling's gonna have a decent showing, but I'm only talking about the crowd. So yeah, give me JSU.
You know, man, this game right here has all of the signs. You know,
don't do it, Wayne.
Has all
Wayne,
the
don't do it.
signs.
Wayne.
Has all the signs. And you know what's really crazy is, you know, Jackson State coming in off a bye week. They didn't practice well. They came off a big win. They're getting some guys back in the lineup, getting them all healthy. You know, all the talk is that, you know, Grambling folks, they sold their hotel rooms. They canceled them. They said, you know what, after last week, we throw in the towel. We done with this game. We on to the next one. You know, Grambling, we know all those different things about how they turn the ball over. You know, they struggled at quarterback with ZT set from time to time. You know, Mickey Joseph, we see what people say about Mickey Joseph. They say sometimes he doesn't look interested. Sometimes he doesn't look like he's there. You know, they look at Jackson State, TC Taylor. He's the greatest. He's the best. He don't lose. He hasn't lost in get back games. He gets his revenge. All those different things have been said. Now, one thing that I've always said about what's important is that when you're a big time favorite, like Jackson State is in this game, the important thing is that you don't give the other team any hope. You don't turn the ball over. You don't beat yourselves. You don't do silly penalties. You don't do any dumb things, right? And Jackson State, they've got this look over this last 5 games that says like, hey, we got a prize in front of us. And I expect Grambling to come out and fight, but not enough.
Well, I thought you was gonna say something outlandish.
Come on, bro. I had to throw a little bit of suspense. Man, listen, Jackson State, man, they're the better team by a lot, man. They should spank these guys. Because listen, man, let's don't get it twisted. Okay. Grambling has had so many struggles on offense. And if you're able to mix up them coverages, man, and confuse T-set just like Prairie View did, man, you can force him into making some mistakes. And plus, you saw last week, he's not even 100% healthy on that foot. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, I love Mickey Joseph. He's one of my favorite guys in the SWAC, man. And I know he's going to bring these guys to Vegas with a purpose and try to focus. And maybe they should keep this game and stay in this game for a while. But, man, Jackson State, man, coming off a bye week, you can't ignore that. They're getting guys like Cam Salas back. He didn't even play last game, man. And that's really, to me, that's, besides Quincy Ivory, that's their best defensive guy. So, yeah, man, Jackson State, man, going into Vegas and taking care of some business. And you need to, because you're going to turn around next week and take another road trip. But that's next week. See, JSU fans, I thought y'all had that. Look at, he said, don't do that, man.
Man, hey, White, I thought you were about to do it to him, man. I couldn't let you. I was like, oh my God, no, he's not gonna do this, is he?
Look at her. She said, oh. Yeah, man. Nah, I wasn't gonna do that, man. I had to set that one up nice. Okay, now, so JSU, y'all roll on, man. Just take care of your business and go on another week. All right. We come to the final game on the slate this week. What up is? Yeah, listen, Wild Wayne saw y'all right this week, man. Y'all gonna take care of it. Listen, y'all might put a 50 piece on them. So anyway, okay, Dave, now we come to the Magic City Classic, sponsored by Amazon and presented by Coca-Cola. And we got both teams coming in off a bye week, man, as they always are. 84th edition of this Magic City Classic. They're in Legion Field once again, 3:30 Eastern, 2:30 in the Central. Last year, Alabama State was victorious, 27-19. They've won the last 3 in this series. It'll be on ESPN+. Now, we go right here. A&M leads the overall series by slimmest of margins. And this is really what it's been over the last 20 years. It's just been kind of, like that. Somebody goes on a run, then somebody stops it, and then they go back and forth, and then somebody goes on a run. You know what it is. First game between these schools was 1924. It's been uninterrupted since 1945. Okay. Alabama State, as I said, they've won the previous 3 matchups. Okay. Now, here's a little bit of the analytics. I don't have as much deeper analytics as I did the previous game of the week, but we got something for you nevertheless. Rush offense, A&M, man, we struggle running that ball. We broke out for 240 against Valley, but unfortunately, man, that was Valley, right?
Right.
Shout out to Valley, but, we haven't been able to run the ball. It hasn't mattered. It's been Edwards, the walk and roll, Nero. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Ryan Moore, it don't matter. We've had all these different dudes running the ball. We've kind of struggled. Maybe they got that straightened out over the bye week. Now, rush offense, when you got Andrew Body back there running that thing and he's their leading rusher, and also you got Jabari Kuykendall, you got Ligon, you got Jamari Holtzclaw. You know, those guys have been able to run the ball, man. And when they've won games, they've run really, really well. Rush defense. Now, you know, man, we've had some rough days trying to stop the run. That Jackson State game, oh boy. And also on the other side, they ain't necessarily really been stopping the run like that much either. Pass offense, now this is where A&M excels. They're ninth nationally in the FCS in passing yards per game, 277. And that's with two quarterbacks playing, right? And then Andrew Body, he ain't too shabby throwing it either. Pass defense, they're going to give up some yards. Both teams are going to give up yards, okay? A&M gives up on an average 412 yards a game, and ASU gives up 403. Turnover differential, you look at it, that's a big thing. Alabama State just threw their first interception of the entire season, the last game against Jackson State, okay? And they have 3 fumbles. That's it. They've only turned the ball over 4 times. Okay, and they're a +4 in turnover differential, whereas A&M is a -1. So now, with all that said, man, I turn it over to you, and you give me and the people your thoughts.
Man, first of all, this is Magic City Classic. And just like, I would say, like all rival games, you can almost throw the analytics out the window because it's the Classic. Right?
Mm-hmm.
We know Andrew Body is going to do Andrew Body things. You know, Quad Brown may not play. I think he's questionable for this game. Coach said on the call. So we're probably going to get Eric. Eric is a young, talented guy, big arm, leader. I really like the kid. Been knowing the kid for, a few years now. When he was like a freshman going to high school, I met him, and I thought he was a great talent at that time. So I think we have somebody that can make the throws, but he's young. This is a big stage. He is from Birmingham, Alabama. So pressure, you know what I mean? You got the pressure of the moment. Andrew Body, his game travels. It doesn't matter if you're playing in Birmingham, Alabama, Las Vegas, Nevada, New York, heck, London, England. It doesn't matter where you put Andrew Body. He's gonna do Andrew Body things. But again, I say that this is the Magic City Classic. Who's going to be that player that emerges, right? Like it's always in this game. It's always somebody that not saying that you don't. It's either going to be the guy that we know about, or it's going to be somebody we just had no clue about that just kind of go off and do his thing, right? So I think that if there ever was a game for, I don't think we have an issue passing the ball, but I think that's going to be our advantage. If we're going to take advantage of anything offensively, it's probably going to be through the air. Hopefully, we can get something going in the run game. Like you said, we've been struggling week after week after week. We've been kind of struggling to get the run game. Last week had Valley. Not like week before last had Valley. But, you know, this is tough for me, Wayne. You know, you have me on the platform, and and we're supposed to be non-biased, right? My show is non-biased. Wild Wayne Cartwright is non-biased. And we're supposed to tell it like it is. That's why we're here, right?
Yep.
Yeah. But damn it, I can't do it. Give me the Alabama A&M Bulldogs with the upset just because Dave Gardner said so.
Well, my guest star tonight, he showed his A&M colors, and
yeah, I did.
And he's done very, very valiantly in his way of showing that. And him being from the city of Birmingham, he's attended this game many, many times. However, I have not been to this game since 1999, but I do watch it faithfully every year. as much as I look at and I see the way that I believe that we can play in this game, I believe that we will play well in this game. I believe that after a bye week, I believe that there will be some differences in the way we play the game, particularly on defense. Now, really where this game boils itself down to, the way A&M is on defense, you can't allow Alabama State to throw and pass. If they do both, forget it. It's a wrap. If they do both, forget it. Listen, man, I really love our team. And before I give my pick, I gotta answer this. 99. Yeah, the reason why I haven't been since 99, I'm a track and field official and cross country official. And this Saturday we have regionals here in Ohio. So it's always on regional Saturday. That's why I'm not at this game, but I do watch it. So now, my heart says I want to be with my team, and my heart will be with my team. But Mr. Non-Biased and the analyst just can't go there. I got to go Alabama State here. And the reason being is that, ladies and gentlemen, I learned my lesson when I went out on a limb and really went with my gut and tried to, think that A&M would play a better defensive game against Jackson State. And we did not. And honestly, I'm not very certain that our defense is going to be able to keep these guys down. And look, he said, "What, Wayne? Is this after the JSU pick?" No, this is actually just me just seeing the game for what it is. Andrew Body and the way that they have multiples on offense, the way that they throw the ball, Jalen Jones, the Jet. They got weapons, man. And I'm just not sure our guys on defense are going to be able to keep up with it. I think it's going to be a shootout. I think we're going to make noise. This 38-31, this is a 4-quarter football game, ladies and gentlemen. But in the end, my analytical hat, man, and just everything that I've seen, Alabama State. And for the record, I picked Alabama State to beat us at the beginning of the season, too. You can go back and look at that show from August. So there it is. Hey, A&M surprised me. Let me come on the recap on Sunday night with a big smile and a whole lot of accolades for you. But yeah, 4th year in a row, man. That's what I see. Oh, man. Let me move on. Last week, Wild Wayne, there was only 7 games. I was 5-2 last week. Doggone you, Alcorn. You went down at FAMU. And Howard, man, I took a chance on y'all at Tennessee State, man, and y'all didn't really do very well for me. But, my swing game winner, I got Prairie View and I got Grambling. So, and, the other 3 picks weren't hard. So 87-21 is my season record. These are my week 9 winners for those that are just looking, so just to rehash real quick. And we have one additional segment coming up here, Dave. You're going to love this last segment.
Okay.
So we've got, I got Tennessee State beating Western Illinois. Prairie View, yeah, I ain't saying that team's name no more. Monmouth big over Hampton. Happy homecoming, Hampton. Bethune-Cookman with their homecoming over UAPB. I have FAMU over Southern. That just shows y'all how I flip-flopped. But I have FAMU over Southern. I picked FAMU over Southern. So next week, whatever it happens, you're going to see it right. It's FAMU over Southern. I got Morgan State over Howard. We got the Magnolia Bowl. And then you see as we go on, you got Jackson State, got Alabama State. And then you see the big one, North Carolina Central taking a big one over Delaware State. All right, so those are my week 9 winners, man. We're on week 9. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, now you're going to love this. This is the finale of the show tonight. Now, Dave, there's been a lot of talk about divisions in the SWAC, right? People are just like, hey, the West is so weak, and man, every year, man, the East is just they should just make it just the two best teams. Well, you know something, ladies and gentlemen, Wild Wayne put something together just for you. We ain't gonna spend a whole lot of time on it, but I got something for y'all. Look, she said, "Stop it, Wayne." Wild Wayne just got a little something for the people. Okay, this is my proposed non-divisional format, right? So I agree with you, ladies and gentlemen. We should get rid of divisions. Look, he said, nah, move around on this topic. Nah, Sean Wiggins. We gonna do it. We gonna do it real quickly. So this is the way I see it. The steps to success. Move to a 9-game league schedule. Let's get rid of playing 8 games. Let's go to 9 games. You know why, ladies and gentlemen? Because we play 12 games now. You got 3 non-conference. Hey, if you still want to get a guarantee game, go ahead. You want to play a D2 SIAC or a CIAA, go for it. And you want to play an FCS team, go for it. I'm seeing all the people saying, no, Wayne, no. God, no. I'm going for it. Give all 12 teams 3 protected opponents, rotated every 4 years. Okay. After 4 years, change up the protected opponent format. So basically what this means, and I'll show it in the next slides. And maybe for some of you that don't like what I'm saying, once you see me show these slides, you'll be like, oh, okay. So listen, there's a method to my madness. After 4 years, you change up the protected opponent format. So your 3 protected opponents, you play them in a 4-year cycle. Home and home, home and home, and then you change it up. The other 6 league opponents, you'll play them on a 2-year home and home. Okay. So you know what that means. If you got 6 opponents that are assigned to you, you're going to play those 6 opponents in a 2-year cycle. And then they change it up. It goes random. Then the top 2 teams in the standings advance to the SWAC title game. Now, how does this look? Okay, these are my proposed protected opponents for each team. So you see, what do you think about A&M? Talk about that. Those are our permanent, our 3s.
Okay, Alabama State, Alcorn, fam. These are protected, right? Yep. These won't come around again to what, 4 years, or they just locked?
4 years and it's locked.
4 years. Okay. So locked. So these are locked opponents for 4 years.
Correct.
So after 4 years, can these change?
Yeah, they can change. But here's the thing: the permanent rivals. Obviously you're never gonna get rid of A&M against Alabama State. Right, you're never gonna get rid of that. You're never gonna get rid of Florida A&M against Bethune-Cookman, right? So and also Bayou Classic. You never get rid of that, right? Okay, so but basically what it really is every team's gonna have a permanent opponent, but then you've got two opponents that'll change on your list. So A&M, you'll keep Alabama State after 4 years. Maybe you pick up Jackson State. Maybe you pick up Texas Southern. You know what I'm saying? So that's how it works. But these are the permanents that I have. Okay. And what I did was I kept in mind the standing rivalries. So like Magic City Classic. Then you look in the case of Alcorn, the Soul Bowl, right? For UAPB, who doesn't really have a standard rival, so you pick Valley because that's the closest school to them. Then you've got Southern and Texas Southern. Then, like I said, Bethune, they don't really have a standard rival other than FAMU. So that's where you get Jackson State and PV. And then you see Florida A&M, you see it's built in. They got a rivalry that goes back to the SIAC with us. Then them and Alabama State, they play really, really well together. And then you've got that, right? Okay, so that's the first page. Now we go to the next one. Okay, so this is the way it goes. Okay, Grambling, Alabama State, PV, then Bayou Classic. Jackson State, you keep the Soul Bowl, then you play Bethune, and then you get the boom box. Yeah,
Right.
just like you said, Miss Max, you get the boom box yearly. You keep that 4 years protected. And really, to me, I see the boom box as your permanent that you never change. I would say boom box, you play Southern every single year, right? Okay. Then you got Valley, right? And Prairie View. You know you're never gonna get rid of that Labor Day Classic. They got to play tennis. They got to play Texas Southern, right?
Yeah.
And then, then if you're Southern, you get Grambling and Jackson State as two of your permanents. And then, Texas Southern, you figure it out. So those are the protected opponents, okay? Before I go to the last slide, what are your thoughts there?
I like that. I think that works as long as you keep those. We keeping those standard, those household rivalries intact. I think that works. So far so good.
Yeah. Okay. Now, this is what a sample schedule would look like. Okay. Here's a sample. All right. Sample. This is what we would be. All right. Week 1, you get your payment game, right? Go to play Florida Gators. Look, let them pay us $1 million. We go play Florida Gators in the swamp. Okay. Yeah. All right. There you go. Tennessee State. Okay. Non-conference. Week 3, you could do your Lewis Cruz or whatever. You play the Tuskegee. Okay. Now you get into your 9-game schedule. Let's say you got Grambling at Grambling, Bethune-Cookman at Alcorn, homecoming against FAMU, man, that would be awesome.
Right.
Bye week before the Magic City Classic, as you typically do. And then you look at Pine Bluff. And then, of course, would love to play Jackson State. You know what I'm saying? So you get that, 2 years. We play them there. They play, and ain't none of that Mobile stuff either, Jackson State folks. Ain't none of that Mobile stuff.
Yeah, trying to
This
sneak
is
down.
Vet.
Yeah.
This is Vet and Lewis Cruz. And then you got Texas Southern and Valley. So this is what a sample schedule would look like under a 9-game format. So yeah, man. And listen, I hear everybody that's talking about, would people stop bringing up divisions and different stuff like that? Listen, this is something that people always talk about when it comes to, different types of strength and power of your leagues. And that's just why I proposed this. I brought this up of what it looks like. Okay. Listen, I'm fine with East and West. I just want everybody to know that. But I'm just saying, though, if we had to do something like this is what I would propose it to look like. So you see it. 9-game schedule, 12 teams, 3 protected opponents, rotate 4 years. And this way, you get to see everybody. Because listen, man, the crazy thing is about this is we're getting ready to play Prairie View on November the 8th. We haven't played Prairie View since 2016.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Ain't that crazy? What kind of sense does that make? How is it almost 10 years and we ain't played them? Not one time?
Yep. And a lot of people on the FBS side, they used to talk about the Big 12 for doing this. Big 12 is one of the first ones that got rid of the conferences and just played, just round robin, right? Everybody play everybody. And people say, well, no, I don't like that, strength of schedule, this crap. That's on the FBS side. But where we are today's landscape of football, man, I think the East and West is something that we're migrating from. I think that's kind of an old school approach. I think that we need to get to this because these Texas schools, I mean, I would love to see, Prairie View and Lewis Cruz, right? I mean, I would love to see that. I would love to see that band. I mean, Texas Southern, give them a reason to travel. You know what I mean? That's one of the best bands we got in the SWAC. But we don't see them here in the Southeast. And it's only because you have that Eastern Division, Western Division. And if you truly want to know who's the best team in your comp, because it could be a sense where I will be honest. I believe that your two best teams are Jackson State and Alabama State. But
Correct.
unfortunately, how things are set up, they won't be able to fight it out, and they won't be able to crown that champion. Which in my mind would be, I think those two teams have they shown right now they are worthy of it. But I think that the whole East and West, I think that's antiquated. I think that was a system put in place years ago for whatever the reasons were. But I think we need to move to this and let's push the pen forward, right? Let's get these Texas schools involved and get let's just do it, man. I think let's put the two best teams on the field at the end of the day.
Yeah. Now, here's my thing too. If we kept the East-West format, what I would love to see, though, I would love to see us go to 9 games, though.
Okay.
I would love to see us go to 9 games. And listen, the format that I did say here, it can still work even in a 9-game format. With keeping the divisions, right? Now, I think a lot of folks would probably be more kind to that if we kept East and West, but we still had the same kind of way that I proposed. Because here's the thing. You can still have the protected crossovers, right? People want to see Boombox Classic every year, right? And I know Jackson State folks, you would love to see Boombox Classic. Southern folks, you love to see Boombox Classic too. And for those of us on the outsides, we love to see it as a conference game, right? So why not have it? Why not have it as a permanent crossover? It's protected, okay? Same thing with, if you get FAMU playing Southern or, whatever. Alcorn against Valley. Those that love Alcorn versus Valley, it could be a protected crossover. So even if you don't like getting rid of the divisions, I still believe you can do 9 games and still do the same format that I said. You can still do it. I mean, I just think it would just be a little bit more intrigue and a little bit more balance to the schedule. Listen, football is going to be played at the end of the day. And if you're good, you're still going to win the games, right? You're still going to win the games. Don't matter. People like to say about, this team, they didn't play nobody. Well, that schedule, this schedule, whatever. So let's see. What'd she say? So nobody commented on my proposal. So I guess it proves my theory. People want changes because we're winning now. Okay. All right. Let's say this. Okay. I'll say this. FAMU people were saying this too. FAMU people were saying this, and yeah, I get it. Jackson State fans, I get it. Most of the people that have been saying this, it comes up every year. When you guys would beat FAMU, then it's like, FAMU wants to get another chance at you. But just don't blame the folks for at least asking. That's all I'm saying. So, what do you say? Divisions are antiquated for the SWAC, but perfectly fine for the SEC. Explain that to me. Dave?
They got rid of the divisions. Yeah, they've got rid of the divisions in the SEC now. There's no divisions in the SEC.
Right.
So that's done as well. ACC either. There's no divisions.
Nope. No. The only conference that has East and West now out there in the power or in the FBS is the Sun Belt. They're the only ones still do East and West. Even the MAC got rid of it. They had it for a while. All of them got rid of it.
It's totally opposite. We're really the only ones that's hanging on to it. Speaking of SWAC is really one of the ones that's really hanging on to it. The other guys, because watch this year, the SEC championship. I mean, you may get Texas A&M and Ole Miss or whoever you get. It's no East and West anymore.
Yeah, she said I'd only go to a 9-game mandate if we added another team to the conference. Yeah. Well, he say, man, gone. Y'all are cowards when it comes to this division talk.
I mean, I don't understand. I mean, I'm trying to understand, and I guess what Benny is saying is like, I don't know why people don't want to why everybody want. Because here's the thing. I'm gonna use Jackson State for example, not hopping on them, but let's just be honest. Over the last 5 years, they've been the team in the conference, right? I mean, and to be honest with you, it doesn't matter if you had divisions, if you played everybody round robin. Jackson State, the years that they won it, they were gonna win it.
Exactly.
So, they want to be they were the best team, and if you're the best team, you're the best team.
Yeah.
But I mean, but hey, I don't want a SWAC championship where it's lopsided, right? Because you're playing another division opponent, and they're just really not that good, but they did win their division, right? So you have to give them respect. But you get to it, you want a championship game to be a championship game. You want to see the best that your conference has, and I think that's what I love about it.
Yeah, and she said, find someone who can beat Thomas Taylor. It's simple. Until then, we'll continue to beat TA, and that's a personal problem for y'all. Hey, like I said, man, I just put something out there. Wild Wayne got to do what he does. We gotta put some things out there. But hey, I just showed you what I think is possible if change was in the atmosphere. But listen, for one thing we do know, which is today, is that we have 6 weeks left in the season. 6 weeks left in our season. And there's a lot of great football that's still to be played. We got this weekend, which is a wonderful slate that we just went over for you. And man, you got that great month of November coming, which starts next week, man, which is crazy. So, Dave, man, I appreciate you, man, for joining me tonight. Tell them where the folks can find you, brother.
Hey, man, you all can find me on Facebook at Dave Gardner. Also, our show, Down South Football Podcast, we've been going strong for roughly around 6 years now, right? You always can find us on YouTube. So if you can just search Down South Football Podcast, you can see all of our latest content, our old content, and give us a subscribe, man. Turn that notification bell on. We're normally on Mondays and Thursdays most times, but turn your notification bell on so that when we do go live, and all of our shows are live, we do go live, you guys can chime in. We do talk FBS. We talk, not just SEC football. We talk Big 12. We talk ACC. We talk Big 10. We also talk SWAC. We kind of talk it all, right? So a lot of you JSU fans, you guys have subscribed to us before, and we really appreciate it. But if you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. Down South Football Podcast, man. Looking forward to seeing you guys.
There it is. He said, Dave, you favorite my cousin that's a fireman. Hey, man, this was a great show tonight. Make sure y'all hit the like button. Hey, and also, man, Sunday night, I'll be back with another fabulous Sunday recap. And already working on a great one for you next Wednesday. I've got a special guest host that I'm working on for next Wednesday. I hope to have that confirmed for you by Sunday, and I'll let you know. But man, and he said, Dave, great analysis, and I'm gonna look you up. Yeah, man, y'all subscribe to Down South Football Podcast, man. Subscribe, man. We doing this thing for the culture. We do it for you. We love everybody. All right. If you're going to Vegas, have fun. Don't spend all your money, though. Don't spend your rent money. Don't spend your mortgage money. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you get home in one piece. Those that are Prairie View and Bethune-Cookman, North Carolina Central, Norfolk, Howard, Hampton, happy homecoming to you. Be safe. Have fun. And yeah, love y'all, man. See y'all next time. It's The Ride.
Thank you for joining us on The Ride with Wild Wayne Cartwright. As you exit the ride, make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel, hit the like button, and catch up on all of our prior episodes. Until next time, God bless.